There we go. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Yes, I see people are jumping on. So we'll give them a moment. Yes, love you too. Yes, it's great to see you. Yes. Let's see. It's nice to see. It's nice to see as all the names pop up here. Thank you. Yes, I hope you had a great week. It was a very interesting week. A lot of amazing things happening, and as we're going to talk about. Yes. Great to see all of you. Okay. All right, let me just start. I thought about it this morning. I said, you know what? Let me just pick up one of the books and see what inspiration comes. Maybe, find something that I can share. And of course, I opened up this book. There is a new version, To the Power of One, from Rav Berg. And I open it up to this. And it's funny, although we all know there's no such thing as an accident, there's only synchronicity. So what I opened it up to, yes, greetings from all over the world. Thank you. Yeah, I have to make sure I'm keeping up here. Please, if I can remind you, start a watch party, just push the button. It's been so amazing. We've had thousands of people actually who've started watching Spiritual Sunday because you've been putting watch parties. And I know the more of us that can put those watch parties and even just share the video afterwards. After we finish, the video stays on the Facebook page. Just post it on your page. So the people who may have missed it as a watch party, they can also watch it anyway. And remember, like attracts like, as we're about to see. So the energy that you put out, just by putting it there, the right people who are ready, who are open, who are ready to receive and take advantage of this wisdom will be the ones who find it, right? So here, the Rav writes like this. From a Kabbalistic point of view, the essential factor that can and will change all societies within our universe. And remember, this is written, this was published in 1991. And see how it still fits, obviously, or how it fits even more so. From a Kabbalistic point of view, the essential factor that can and will change all societies within our universe is an additional infusion of positive energy intelligence, as clearly stated by the Zohar. With this positive infusion into our universe, humankind, the determinator of how our world behaves, pure or polluted, will have a better chance in creating positivity. We are so inundated by the overwhelmingly negative attitudes that presently pervade and weave through the very texture of our society that it becomes difficult, even for those who have a natural desire to share and respect their fellow man. The cosmic atmosphere impels us to overreact in situations where, if the climate were more conducive, meaning as we put more light and spread more Zohar in the world, we would all most certainly behave in a positive manner, befitting the higher species of the Lord's creation. So again, the Rav is reminding us, even from 1991, that it's all about the energy. So as we put more light by our own behavior, by spreading the Zohar, by scanning the Zohar, by proactive transformation, as we put more light into the cosmos, not only is it we who have changed and therefore blessed on a higher level, but we've also influenced other people. Because as the Kabbalists say, and we always talk about, it's the influence cosmically. It's the influence, what the balance of power in the universe is, that determines which side of our consciousness we're going to listen to, the side of the light or the influence of, heaven forbid, of that spiritual parasite called the opponent. So once again, the Rav, as all the Kabbalists throughout history remind us, we are the determinator in our own life, individually and collectively for all humanity. Because as we're seeing more and more today, there is no humanity. there's 7.5 billion individuals that as a collective term we call humanity. But humanity does not behave. Each one of us behave, and how we behave adds up energetically to influence everyone else. So that's why we've spoken about, and we continue to remind ourselves, it doesn't take a majority of people. It would be great to have 3.5 or 4 billion people now learning what we're learning and practicing and putting into their life, applying what we're learning. But it doesn't take that. It takes you and I to raise our vibration through the behaviors, through the actions that we do of transformational sharing, to put a majority light in the cosmos. That energy will cause the awakening in every human being around the world of the light of the Creator, because like attracts like. So as we share and reveal more light in the cosmos, so too that light is awakened on a more powerful level inside each and every one of us. Wow. I don't want to get caught up in this technology, but I appreciate seeing your comments. Yes. Okay, so let's do our affirmation together. And remember, especially for those of you who are new, if you haven't started a watch party, please start the watch party so we can get more and more new people on board. Because as we just said, more people who are channeling the light, then we are speeding up the process of bringing that balance, the change of the balance of power in the cosmos. So if you say together with me, let me make sure I got it there. To awaken and strengthen the light within us. Consciousness is everything. I raise my consciousness today to see the miracles and wonders of life. I commit myself to behave with greater love, compassion, and kindness towards all human beings. And if you're just looking at some of the comments, you see that it is all. We're from all over the world, all parts of the universe, all backgrounds, etc. Okay. Yes. Okay. So this, on Friday, I had an issue with my computer. I was working to set up the streaming for the live streaming from KABBALAH.com on one of the weekend events. And I was getting a little frustrated, a little stressed out because I couldn't make it work. So fortunately, I have one son who's very technically oriented, and I got him on the phone, and he guided me through how to set everything up, how to make the right connections, the right settings, et cetera, et cetera. So what happened? Once it was set up, then the stress, the anxiety, that negative feeling that I had disappeared. But I was thinking about it, and this is why I'm sharing it with you. What's the difference between that and life? Now, there's the computer works. There is a system to the computer because I didn't understand how to use it, and I didn't make use of it. Therefore, I was stressed out. Therefore, I felt the stress and the anxiety of wanting to get everything set up, right, for this connection. My son, because he knows the system, and it's again the same system, because he knows it, he was able to guide me to achieve what I wanted to achieve. And immediately, the stress, the anxiety, that negative feeling from inside dissipated. So I bring that up because the universe is the same. There is only one system, there is one creator, and that's it. Plain and simple. There is nothing else but the light of the Creator. Those of you who've taken the classes, we know in the endless world, endless, there was only one endless force. The endless force of the light of the Creator. Period. End of the story. There was no darkness, no limitation, no illusion, just that endless light. What is the endless light? Number one, we could consider it from our point of view, everything. Everything we could ever imagine wanting, having, etc. It was there because the light of the Creator is the only source of lasting fulfillment. The only source. And that's essential because when we got down here into this world, we began to perceive that there are other sources of lasting fulfillment. So consciousness is everything. We want to keep reminding ourselves, the light of the Creator is the only source of lasting fulfillment, because the endless world is endless and eternal. This physical world is not endless and eternal. It is temporary. Don't think in a bad way, but in a good way. It's like we're in this world of a dream, and we've come here for a purpose, to achieve our purpose of emulating the light of the Creator and revealing all of our blessings. And once we've done that, then like a dream, we wake up and we realize we have always been in the endless world, even though we didn't see it. So when we came into this physical world, when we created, as we've called it, the 5 sense world of time, space, and motion, physical materiality, as we created that, the endless world didn't disappear. And the desire that we have, that was given to us by the Creator for endless fulfillment from the light, that also never disappeared. Every human being on earth has a desire for endless fulfillment. That's what drives every single one of us. So the Creator gave us that desire for endless fulfillment. Coming here into this world, it didn't change. We still have the desire for endless fulfillment. And the light force didn't change. There didn't become 2 forces when we came into this world. And we're going to talk about that. There's still only one force in the endless world and in this world. Only one force of light. Only one force that wants to be revealed. What's the nature of light? It wants to shine. It wants to emanate. It wants to be revealed. It wants to illuminate. And in the case of the light of the Creator, it wants and has blessed us with everything. Everything. We have it all. Our job here is to emulate the Creator, to reveal it all. To reveal it all. Okay. Now, what about, okay. Thank you for joining us. I see a few more people coming on. Yes. Okay. So then what about what we see, all the ups and downs? Look at what's going on in the world today. What people perceive as the chaos, the confusion, the negativity, the darkness, etc. We have to keep reminding ourselves, consciousness is everything. There is only one force. There are no 2 forces. What is darkness? And we often speak about it. From a scientific point of view, there is no definition of darkness. We can only say, as most of us know, the absence of light. But it's still about the light. It's whether we can perceive the light or not perceive the light. It's not about there is a force of darkness. There's like now, open our eyes, close our eyes. But you close your eyes, I don't disappear, right? Spiritual Sunday doesn't disappear. It's just you don't see the picture. So, where's the ups and downs come from? It's our resisting the light, our closing ourselves off from the light. That's what causes our perception of the ups and downs. Think about this. You have a jigsaw puzzle. You pour the pieces out on the table. Is it eternal mess? Is it eternal chaos? Or is it just disorder waiting for us to put it back in order? It's the same pieces on the table. It's the same jigsaw puzzle. The difference is our consciousness, which way we perceive it. Stock market goes up, stock market goes down. Is it good or bad? Well, again, it depends on our perception. If a person, and if you know more about it, I hope it's correct. But if a person buys stock regularly, it goes up, they make money. If it goes down, they lose money. But there's an idea of what they call selling short, which means when the stock market goes down, they make money. And if it goes up, they lose money. So it's not a difference in the stock market. It's again a difference in the consciousness or the perception. So then all the chaos that people perceive, that we tend to see, or the ups and downs, or the light and darkness, it's our limitation. It's not a limitation on the light. The light is and always will be endless, infinite force of sharing, and the only source of lasting, endless fulfillment. Now, where did these limitations come in? Where did the perception, even the illusion of ups and downs, chaos, negativity, etc., where did that come in from? So we go back to the story of Adam and Eve, Garden of Eden. And I don't want to give you all the details that we spoke a little last week, right? Those of you taking the classes, but in its simplest terms, Adam and Eve, which is our pure and perfect selves. We are pure and perfect beings of light because that's what the Creator created. So Adam and Eve, which correspond to our pure and perfect selves, what happened? We had the tree of life, which the voice of the Creator, our intuition said, this you can eat of, this you can partake, because that's what's real, the endless light of perfection. But then there was also in this world what we've called the tree of knowledge, good and evil. Knowledge is a connection, So the tree of knowledge, good and evil corresponds to our ability to connecting to the light in every situation, or we can perceive the illusion, the negativity. Well, with the help of that spiritual parasite, the opponent, unfortunately, we partook, we connected ourselves to this tree of duality, the tree where we were able to perceive or connect with good and evil, light and darkness, up and down, chaos and order, all of those things. But they're an illusion because they're still only the light of the Creator. Now, what happened, and this was a part I'm not sure we've spoken about before, Adam and Eve, our pure and perfect selves, when we listen to the light of the Creator with our soul, or the voice that's coming through our soul from the endless world, it's absolute perfection. It says in the Zohar, the Kabbalists explain, that our pure and perfect selves are so far beyond the five senses that it says we were able to see voices. Right now you hear my voice, but you don't see literally the words coming out of my mouth, if you will, written in the air. We don't see that because of our limitations. Well, Adam and Eve, before they connected with the tree of knowledge, good and evil, the power of duality, the illusion of the five senses, they could see voices. So when it says in the Bible, they heard the voice of God, or God spoke to them, not only did they hear it with their spiritual ears, but they also saw the words as if it was written in the sky. Like you see, like subtitles in some shows, you're hearing the voice, but you also see the subtitles, or you see the closed caption even in our own language. So you're seeing both. You're hearing and you're seeing. Well, you and I and our true perfect selves have that capability. So when we, as Adam and Eve, connected to, partook, ingested from the tree of knowledge, good and evil, we took on the illusionary aspect, and it says that they couldn't see the voice anymore. So that's why it says, if you read in the code of the Bible, when God called them, where are you, where are you? They ran in fear. And God says, why are you hiding? He said, well, because we know we did something wrong. How did they know? Because they could no longer see the voice. So they understood some form of limitation came into existence. That's you and I. When we do not see the light of God, the pure light in everything, even through the illusion, you see a body. No, we look to the soul. All spiritual people talk that way. I want to connect to the soul of people. I don't want to just connect, like I don't want to judge the book by its cover sort of thing. But the same thing goes with work. I don't want to just see the physical material aspect of work. I don't want to see just the physical material aspect of my house, of my friends, of my coworkers, of my family. I don't want to see just the physical material of the car and the house and the world and the other things. I don't want to. I want to connect to the light because the light is infinite. And I want to get back to connecting to the tree of life where there is only light. That's our work, getting back to the Garden of Eden. But I want you to understand that the reason that people and we in our times can connect to and perceive the source of fulfillment is the physical material is because we've chosen to this day, 2020, we have chosen in that moment to connect to the tree of knowledge, good and evil, where we can see the darkness. We can see the illusion. We can see the chaos. We can see the hatred. We can see the disease. We can see the death, pain, and suffering. Yes, I'm not here to tell you we don't perceive that and those things don't exist. But what we do need to do as students of the Kabbalah Center and people who want to see the Garden of Eden come back, we want to see the end of death, pain, and suffering. We need to raise our vibration. We need to inject more light. We need to reveal more of the light of our soul through transformational sharing, that the illusion and the limitations of physicality will disappear. How many of us have been inspired, even if there's a part of our brain with the help of the parasite that wants to see? We read the stories of miracles, Kabbalists who could fly and levitate and walk through walls and manifest things out of the ethers, right? And we say, yes, I'd love to do that. And then the parasite comes in, but that's not true. It's just a story. Nobody can do that. Look around. Well, think, if we went back 1,000 years and we told somebody about this technology that you and I are now using, called the computer, right? And this ability of seeing each other from thousands of miles all over the world, what would they have told us? It's heresy, it's witchcraft, it'll never happen, right? You're just imagining, you're hallucinating, who knows what you've been smoking, right? But it's now fact. You and I are here experiencing it. So even from the 1% point of view, limitations have been falling away because we, the spiritual people, have been evolving back to the Garden of Eden, back towards that pure and perfect state. We've been raising not only our own vibrations, but the vibrations of all people around the world, even if it's just a microscopic bit of awakening in them. But everybody on earth is having a greater awakening right now. So the light still is only pushing in one direction. There is no going back and forth. There is no ups and downs. It's moving us forward no matter what, because that's the nature of light. That's the nature of our soul. So the pain, the suffering, the illusions, etc., even if you and I are experiencing it, we look around the world and see it, it's only temporary. And I know in some way that doesn't necessarily satisfy us in this moment. But our only hope to remove the pain and suffering from the world is as we will take that into our heart and soul, and it will remind us through that awakening that is the truth. The negativity, the lack of light, the appearance of lack of light can only be temporary. How temporary? That's up to us. That's why when we read from The Power of One, the Rav called us the determinator of not only our life individually, but collectively. So, what goes on in the world? Push forward. Push forward. We do not go backwards. There's a push forward. Think about this. I was thinking of different ideas, right? Pain and suffering, we said, only comes when blocking the light. But what's the purpose of the pain and suffering? It is a temporary state. If we'll work with it truly Kabbalistically, if we'll work to see through the physical material to see the light, then it will be even less temporary. It'll go away faster. It's all in our hands. The more one holds onto the consciousness of pain and suffering and darkness and illusion and duality, etc., then the more one is connected to it. It's just like anything else. If you touch some dirt on the ground, then you're stuck in the dirt till you wash it off, right? When you wash it off, then it's gone, and the original cleanliness or purity, if you will, comes back again. So then what's the purpose of pain and suffering? It's the awakening. It's a wake-up call. I'm off the path of the light. I'm not seeing the light. I'm not acting like the light. Because the human part of us, when we don't perceive light, when we don't perceive that the light has the solution and the light is always there, and in the midst of that challenge, I don't see, how am I going to solve this? What am I going to do? Most of the people in the world today, what's going to happen? They're in that anxiety. What will be? Will we be able to get rid of the coronavirus? Will we go back to normal? Will the economy pick up? Will people change? What will go on? They're stuck in that illusion because they're still connecting to the tree of knowledge of darkness, of illusion, of duality. And so the parasite, called the opponent, in their head keeps them on that cycle of thought. What's going to happen? What's going to be? Listen to the news. They're telling us up, down, no, good, all these things. It confuses us. You and I, we've learned pause, connect to the light. The infinite light never disappeared. If I'm not seeing it, it's my illusion of the moment. It's my misperception. So if you think about driving, you drive down the street. I don't know if you've ever been. When I was growing up, one of my parents' friends had a cabin in the mountains. So I remember we used to drive up the mountain, and you go on some of these windy roads on the edge of the mountain. And as a kid, of course, you look down there and you say, wow, I hope we don't fall down there. But what did they create? They created guardrails around that outside edge. So let's see, heaven forbid, somebody is driving up there, and for whatever reason, in the moment, they start to go off the road. What happens? The car hits the guardrail. It may scrape it, it may dent it or whatever, but what's the purpose of the guardrail? It's painful, if you will. It's temporary pain. It's that, dent or scrape, whatever it is, but it's in order to push the car back onto the path that's safe and it's progressive. So yes, there's the scrape. The same with any pain. How come when we touch a hot stove, we feel pain? So that we'll be reminded not to keep our hand on the stove. It's the wrong thing to do. That's not the way the system is set up. Are we able to put our hand on the hot stove? Yes. But none of us want to keep it there because it burns and it's going to cause problems for whatever, a week or two till the burn heals itself. But that's the purpose of pain. It's not bad. It's not negative in that way. Yes, we all want to avoid that kind of pain and that kind of suffering and those kinds of situations. But when they occur, it's our work as students of the Rav and Karen in the Kabbalah Center to pause and say, no, thank you, universe. Thank you, my soul. It's an awakening for me to go back on the path. It's an opportunity for me to remember I must have gone off the path, and that's why there's pain. That's why there's negativity. And the more that we realize that's the system, then the easier it is to navigate ourselves and get back to that Garden of Eden where we start to see things. You and I in our level, we may not yet, although some of you may, be able to see the voice of people speaking. And yet, as the Rav and Karen often remind us, have you ever had a conversation with somebody and they're discussing, you're having a discussion and they say, well, this is my perspective. And out of your mouth comes the words, I can see what you're saying. I can see what you're saying. I see your perspective. Well, that's in our level, a taste, if you will, of the remnant of the pure and perfect light being that we really are, that existed in the Garden of Eden, the one that could literally see voices. So we have aspects of that. We just say those things and we're not aware. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I can see their perspective. What do you mean? I heard them talk. How could I see their words? No, that's getting back to that perfection. So we have that capability to get back, and we're getting there more and more. Time, space, and motion is disappearing. Again, this technology, some of you are halfway around the world, and yet we're here as if we're sitting one-on-one, face-to-face. So the illusion of distance and time, for me, it's whatever, 11:30 in the morning. For some of you, it's 11:30 at night. For some of you, it's somewhere in between. Some of you, it's earlier in the morning, right? Whatever, 9, 10, 9 or 8 or 7 or 6 a.m. But we're here at the same time. So the aspect of time, space, and motion, which is also part of this illusionary physical, as we call it, 1% world, is disappearing more and more. Now, it's important for us to grasp which came first, though. Is it the spiritual transformation and then the physical takes place? Or is it the physical that happens and then the spiritual transformation? Hello? We know first comes the spiritual. So as we reveal light by our transformation, then the physical world will manifest it. Whether it's somebody who's inspired to write a book or create a movie or a story, whether it's somebody who creates music or somebody comes up with a new invention, something that didn't exist before, but we know it's just manifesting. Again, because the light is pushing in one direction, the light is infinite, it has all the solutions, all the answers, etc. The issue is, how closed off are we from the light? And each of us have our curtains, our shells, as I believe we've spoken about, that are created by our negative actions, jealousy, ego, greed, fear, guilt, shame, etc. And those disconnect each and every one of us to some degree, greater or lesser, from the light. And that's why So many people have difficulty in their challenging situations to grasp the light, to connect to the light, to believe in the light, to understand the solutions are there. But they are, because the infinite light of the Creator cannot disappear. It cannot go away. If the light is infinite, where can it disappear to? You and I, in the world of time, space, and motion, we can move away. Like right now, I'm outside my house, so I could get up and walk in my house. I could, in essence, hide myself from you by going into my house. But if the light of the Creator is infinite, and the soul inside of us that contains the light is infinite, then there's nowhere to go. The light cannot go somewhere to run away from us or hide from us. It's only we, by putting shells or curtains over our eyes physically and spiritually, that can temporarily perceive a lack of light. But it's still there. It never disappears. You remember when you go to the beach and sometimes it's so sunny or whatever, you put the blanket over your head? Well, the sun doesn't stop shining. It doesn't stop radiating. But from your point of view, you're not seeing the illumination. You may still feel a little of the heat, even through the blanket, but the illumination has gone away. That's the idea. Pain and difficulty are the guardrails as the light pushes us forward, because that's the only way the light goes, that we can't go too far off the path. Now, and I know I hear it in my head also, so you're telling me all the people who are suffering and all the people who are dying and all the negative situations in the world, right, is like not off the path? Yes, it's tending to off the path. It's like if the car, go back to the guardrail, if the person driving the car keeps banging against the guardrail, what happens? The car gets more scratched, people are bumped inside the car, there's more dents, etc. But still, in essence, no matter what, the car is being pushed forward, scraped up, dented, etc., but it's pushed forward. You and I, even what we've already gone through in life, has pushed us forward, because there is only one direction to the light: forward, upward, blessed, illuminated, clarity, brightness. Even if you think about your car, the ideal perfect system of the car, the way the wheels run, the transmission, etc., there is also an aspect within that, let's say, the brakes will wear out through use and have to be replaced. But the replacement of the brakes is still part of the original system. They build into it how to repair. And that's why, and there's been some history of some car designs that were just, if I can use the word, stupid, because they knew, let's say, brakes would have to be repaired, or oil would have to be changed, etc. But they made like the access to the oil, to the oil drain, so convoluted that one model car, they had to literally lift out the engine just to open the drain and change the oil. So that's foolish design by people. But the design of the Creator is absolute perfect. So then even when you and I make those mistakes and we block the light and we create those curtains and the light gets dimmer and we fall into that temporary limitation of doubt or fear or worry or feeling overwhelmed, feeling there are no solutions, there is always a repair system. Always. Get back to the light, connect to the light, stop, pause, interrupt the voice of the opponent, interrupt that status quo of the same negativity and the same negative thoughts and the same things happening over and over. Interrupt it. When you interrupt the voice of the opponent and you interrupt that continual repetitive cycle, then you have an opportunity to change it. Because the light is always available. The Creator put the light in our soul. The light in our soul never goes away, because again, it's part of the infinite. It has nowhere to go. So when we even look at negative people or we look at evil people, the light in their soul didn't disappear. They've just covered it up so much that they don't perceive any other way. to get some aspect of fulfillment other than taking it from other people. But remember, we are always driven by our God-given desire for infinite fulfillment from the light. When we partake of, or we partook in the past of the tree of knowledge, good and evil, to that extent we are able to attempt getting fulfillment from the outside. And that's why we learn, and the Kabbalists teach us, even when a person reacts and they do a negative action, the sense of fulfillment that comes is only temporary, like a flashbulb. You light a flashbulb, bright for a moment, and then it goes dark. It's only temporary. And that's where people get on that cycle of one negative action and another and another and another, because they do a negative action, instant gratification, but temporary fulfillment, it goes away. Now the opponent says, well, you got to get that back again. So they react again, selfish behavior, egotistical behavior, the opposite of the light behavior. And they get instant gratification, but then it goes away. And so the opponent has people addicted to that cycle of the up and down, to the point where we've tended to believe, well, that's just the way the world works. Some will have good, some will have bad. They will go up and down. There'll always be chaos and confusion. No, the original Garden of Eden, there's no confusion. There's no chaos. Yes, we had to make the choice. Look at the tree of knowledge, look at the tree of life, and decide which to take. But as we remove the blockages, as you and I share more, transform more, then it'll be clearer to see. The tree of life is the only choice. The tree of knowledge is foolishness. It's lack and limitation. We'll be able to see that clearly. Now, we have to learn, stop resisting the light. So even when the challenges come, pause. Where are you not sharing the light? Which person are you judging? How are you judging yourself? Where are you giving into that negativity? That's what the pain, the challenges, the uncomfortable situations we find ourselves in are just helping us if we will listen to it. See where we're not sharing, how we have not shared, how we have blocked ourselves from the light. And so then if we will use the pain, the challenge, the discomfort, the perception of darkness, if we can use it as students of the Kabbalah Center, Kabbalistically, and we will pause and think, no, how can I act like the light? How can I just share? Because I know light will always take away darkness. No matter what, where, and how, the light will remove the darkness. Now, some people see, look, in their own life, they see repetitive patterns. So how is that moving us forward? Right? 100 times people have done the same thing, and eventually the same thing happens. And 50 times or whatever, people go through this similar situation. One bad job after another, one bad relationship after another, one health issue after another, etc. And people say it's for years and years and years and years. So I can't believe Chaim when he's telling us that the Kabbalists say that the light is pushing us forward. Well, again, it's the limitation of our senses. It's not the limitation of the light. So let me ask you, think in your own life, where you may have had repetitive or may be still in repetitive situations, same thing again and again and again. If we really stop and can be objective with ourselves, every time we found ourselves in that negative situation and reactively got out of it, ran away from the job, ran away from the relationship, ran away from whatever the situation is, whenever we ran away reactively and we created those curtains, it was a little more painful inside, a little more uncomfortable, but we didn't notice it right away because the instant gratification was so big that we got that instant gratification right away. Now, over time, and this is the idea, some people, it may be 50 situations until the tipping point. The pain and suffering is too much, and I got to do something about it. For other people who may have a greater tolerance to pain, it may take 100, 150 repetitive situations to hit that tipping point. But there is a tipping point for every human being. So it's not how long will this go on, how many times does this have to happen? There is a finite number. The issue is how tolerant to that pain. How much do we resist the light? How much do we resist acknowledging This is just a wake-up call to remind me where I'm not sharing, how I'm not sharing my light, to remind me that I'm a pure and perfect being of light. We all have the infinite light in our soul. Let it shine. That's all we came here to do. Stop resisting the light of our soul. Stop resisting your blessings. So a person, maybe some of you right now are in those situations. I don't know what to do. Some of you may have been let go of your job. Some of you may have been losing money, whatever the situation because of the current events. Pause. Stop. Remember, I have the infinite light inside my soul. If you have a Zohar, start to scan. Use the tools that speed up the process. And just start sending light out to the world, because what you share is what you get back. So if you're looking for how to survive the situation you're in, how to find a new job, how to get more money, how to be healthier, you cannot just scan and ask the universe to give it to you. You need to channel it through you. So you scan from your Zohar, you just meditate, sending the light of prosperity to everybody on earth. That energy of prosperity will awaken and flow through you, and it will attract to you the right prosperity. If you're looking for a relationship and you've had repetitive bad relationships, don't just give in to the opponent and say, well, that's just the way it is. Every man, every woman, they're all the same. No, pause. Start sending light. Scan from your Zohar about finding the right relationships, connecting to soulmate energy, but send it out from you. Let it shine out of you this way. Then it can come through you and be awakened in you. And as that vibration of more love and compassion shines out of you, then the universe has to bring you more love and more compassion and more goodness and more health and more peace and more protection, because that's what you're sending out to the universe. That's what will shine back. That's cause and effect. That's action reaction. So then even the negative situations will come to a point where it's intolerable to the person. Enough is enough. Let me make the change now. It's about me. Because every negative situation we've ever been in all the tens or dozens or hundreds of them, there's only one common factor. It's me, myself, and I. I'm the common factor in every relationship, in every situation in my life, in everything that I think and experience, etc., and see in the world. I'm the common factor. At some point in every facet of these challenges, we come to the point of saying, that's it. Enough is enough. I will change me, because now I realize that's what will change the situation. And so in closing, Michael Berg told us a couple weeks ago in one of the classes, he was sharing, yes, there may be chaos or the illusion of chaos in the world. Again, disarray waiting for us to put it back. The world is only moving in one direction. The light of the Creator only moves in one direction. So he was saying, according to the Kabbalistic writings, these challenges, really the Creator is calling us. The Creator is calling each and every one of us to restore the Garden of Eden, to restore perfection, the perfect life. Let's answer the call from the Creator. No matter what your challenge is, no matter what the trouble is you're in now, answer the call. Connect back to the tree of life. Connect back to your pure and perfect self. Connect back to that pure light. Share your light. Transformational. Share it through the darkness. Share it through the challenge. Share it to the negative people. Share it in the ways that you weren't comfortable yesterday sharing it. Now make yourself uncomfortable for the sake of sharing the light. Let the light manifest to you, to me, and everyone. Infinite blessings, the solutions, the clarity, the direction, because enough is enough. And now, with what's going on in the world, is the best time for us, you and me, and the other students in the center, to use our tools and to manifest peace, harmony, and unity, extracting all the light out of the darkness and making the darkness disappear forever. God bless. Yes. Oh. Thank you. Thank you. So let's take our moment. Oh, let me just do one thing here, if I can. I hope you can still hear. Well, you probably still hear me and see me. Okay. So I want to do this. Seems to be okay. I want to put on, before we do our meditation. Yes. Okay. So I just put because some people have had difficulty finding the giving, the website to give. So I just put it on there on the comments, and I'll put it again afterwards on the Facebook page itself. But let's just think, let's appreciate whatever we have. And every one of us can give something. It's not about the amount, it's about the effort. It's about the love that you put in it, which is why we take these moments to inject consciousness into our giving. So if you've been awakened, if there's been some inspiration, if you received some motivation, some awareness, some revelation, then please pay it forward by helping us to share this with other people. So we just close our eyes, we're just meditating. That it's our blessing, it's our merit, our privilege to have access to this wisdom, to have the talent and ability that we've received from the Creator, to be able to perceive more and more light through the challenges, the difficulty, and even to perceive more light, more value in the light and the blessings that we've already have, that we've already received, because it's infinite light. So we can enhance the light in the blessings we already have, and we can extract and reveal the light out of the darkness, the challenges that we may find ourselves in. First and foremost, we connect to the consciousness, the infinite nature of the light, that the light is our only source of lasting fulfillment. And my soul, our soul is filled with that infinite light. So we always have ways and means we can share. We always have ways and means to reveal more of our light and take away our darkness and have greater clarity. So with love and gratitude, we bless our offering. We bless our gift to help increase and speed up the spread of the light of Kabbalah, the wisdom of Kabbalah, the technology of Kabbalah, and the books of the Zohar, to cause an awakening, a greatest awakening of 7.5 billion people's soul, that today, hundreds of thousands of people, because we're sharing the light, are having that awakening and coming to their tipping point. That it's not about blaming or the other person's fault. It's about awakening the light inside themselves, taking responsibility for their actions, and finding ways and means to share more of their light. With gratitude in our ability to share, our resources, our capabilities, we send them out, that everybody have that awakening to the power of the Creator inside them. And we know, as the Kabbalists teach us, as we are giving to share the light, then the light in the universe will bring us back many, many fold over the blessings of love and peace and prosperity and protection. And we say, Amen. So I thank you for joining us. Please, again, once we finish, go back, just post it on your Facebook page. Help us speed up the process. It's to the benefit of all, because we're all in it together. We are all one soul. I do appreciate all that you've given, all that you've shared in the past. But like the past, like all of us, until there's peace on earth, until there's the end of all pain, suffering, and death, until we're back to the Garden of Eden, there's always more to share. I wish you well. God bless you. Sending you always light and blessings. And again, as a reminder, one is Tuesday. If you haven't seen it yet on the Facebook pages, please go on to KABBALAH.com. There is a global Kabbalah 1 taking place Tuesday night at 8:30 Eastern Time. So it will be thousands of students around the world. If you took Kabbalah 1, it's a great time to review it. If you haven't taken it or your friends haven't taken it, introduce them to it. It is also, as many of the things we are doing now, as a pay as you can. We don't want the finances to hold people back. Yes, for those of us who are able to afford it and even give a little more, it helps to support those who are going through their difficult time, but also want to have access. So remember, the more people we help, then those people, their soul's energy and the revelation of light is coming back to help us. So you can go on KABBALAH.com, you can go on the Facebook page, Spiritual Sunday, and you'll see the posts for that and how to connect to that. So again, thank you very much. I really appreciate all your support, all your wonderful comments. Those who would like to arrange a Zoom session, right? If you don't have a teacher in the center and you're new to this, or for whatever reason you just haven't, you're certainly welcome to Facebook me and we can arrange a time to meet. All right? God bless, love, light, and blessings to you all and through all of us to the world. All right? Yes. Goodbye. And you could still wish each other a happy Sunday and just sending each other light and love. Have a marvelous afternoon or good evening, pleasant dreams, wherever you are, but a fantastic week till we meet again next week.